We took our first river cruise on the TUI Maya.
What does a river cruise boat look like?
How big is it?
What are the facilities like?
Where do you eat?
Are there open deck areas?
And is there entertainment on board?
How many bars are there?
All these questions and more answered.
Join us on a full riverboat tour to find out.
TUI Maya has 79 cabins, 2 restaurants and 2 bars, and it holds 154 passengers with 40 crew. TUI launched their river cruises in 2021 and have 3 river cruise boats, with the 4th one joining the fleet soon and sailing in Egypt. They offer durations from 3 to 15 nights, but mainly offer 7-night sailings.
We chose a 7-night cruise, Majestic Mine and Rhine, and booked 8 months in advance for an October holiday. Keep watching and we will tell you about how much we paid and if we would book that far in advance again. We will also tell you about the shocking news we received 14 hours before our flight out to Munich to begin the cruise, and why 1/3 of our passengers cancelled the night before.
But first things first, let's have a look around the boat. Deck 1 contains 21 cabins, and that's it. Nothing much to see here, folks. If you want to know what a cabin looks like, check out our cabin tour.
Deck 2 has 34 cabins, the reception area and the wellness area. The wellness area can be booked at certain times of the day, or at other times you could just use the facilities as you want. We never used the facilities. They were small but perfectly formed, so if a sauna and jacuzzi is your thing, don't forget your swimming costumes. The reception area is where you hand your cabin card in and receive an ashore card when you leave the boat with emergency contact details on it. This is so the crew know who is on and off the boat. There's no security to go through like ocean cruises. It's nice and simple. There is someone on reception continually. The fabulous Bruno and his team were on our trip, so if you have a problem, there is always someone to chat to. The cruise director is based in this area a lot, chatting to guests, so it is the place to go for a friendly natter or a query.
Deck 3 holds 24 cabins and the restaurants and bar areas. The 2 dining rooms here are called Bistro and Vedastro. You can use either area for breakfast and lunch. Breakfast is mainly a buffet selection with lots of fruit, cereals, yogurts, nuts and seeds, bread, pastries and hot breakfast items. There's soya and almond milk available too. If you're a vegan or vegetarian, you do have options. There's plenty of choice with fruit juices and of course tea and coffees on offer. In the bistro area, there is an omelette station to get fresh omelettes, and you could also order a few speciality breakfast items from the menu, including waffles and pancakes. Breakfast is open from 7 to 9 daily whilst we were aboard. It's worth noting though that the buffet did start getting cleared away at 9 o'clock, so if you're there at 5 to 9 you do need to grab what you want before it's cleared away. The waiters did come round at about this time explaining that to the guests.
Lunchtime is normally 12 till 1:30, depending on the itinerary of the day. As the boats are mainly docked right next to the towns, it's easy to slip back for lunch if you're out exploring. The only one we missed was in Vienna. There didn't appear to be an option to take a packed lunch out with you, but it may be worth asking this. At lunchtime we visited Vedastro for a formal 3-course lunch, and on one day there was a barbecue buffet for everyone in the bistro and an afternoon tea in Vedastro. We missed afternoon tea as we were out exploring Linz.
Dinner is normally between 7 and 9. The bistro area offers a more casual dining experience with a dinner menu change every other night, whilst in the Vedastro area it's slightly more formal with a different menu each night. You can view the menus beforehand in the reception area, so you can choose where to go. The waiters are wonderful and we had excellent service from them. As we were on an all-inclusive cruise, we had unlimited wine with our food, but we didn't overdo it. On four-board cruises, I believe you also get wine and beer as well as soft drinks with your meals. Water is always available too, and as pescatarians we always had a choice, and as I have a food allergy, items could always be changed to suit my dietary needs.
The menu reflects the area you are in, so it was lovely to try some local dishes. There's always chicken and salmon available for people who don't fancy the daily options. Normally there is a choice of 3 or 4 items for each course. If you want, you can order multiple starters, mains or puddings. One evening we ordered a pudding and a cheese board. The cheese was fabulous. We found the portion sizes excellent and never felt hungry after eating. The only downside was that I would have liked a coffee after my evening meal, but although coffee is available on the boat from the reception area and the bars, it wasn't offered in the restaurant.
Next to the dining area is the club lounge, which is small and intimate, and it's fabulous for a quiet drink. If entertainment is not your thing, this is an area where you can chat or play a game of cards without music playing or a quiz taking place. The bar serves a range of drinks and there's a coffee machine here too. There were always a few people here, but it never felt overcrowded or lacking in atmosphere.
At the other end of Deck 3 is the observatory. At around 6:30 p.m. each evening before dinner, there was normally a get to know the staff event or a port talk for 15 minutes. Being able to meet the staff and express our appreciation was a lovely thing to be able to do. They really do work so hard. This is the place that most people choose to sit and is where the entertainment happens. You can find out what is happening each day on the TUI app, which shows the schedule of entertainment. I did also see someone ask at reception for it to be printed off, so if you don't have a smartphone, don't worry, there's still an opportunity to get the information in paper format.
There are a range of things happening in the observatory, but we only got involved with the evening entertainment. This normally started around 9:15 p.m. and sometimes consisted of a local artist singing or dancing, but on our cruise most nights there was an interactive quiz, which was fabulous as everyone could take part. You all have a controller and have multiple choice questions to answer. It was really fun and we won twice. We got a tote bag and, wait for it, a fridge magnet. It's on the fridge now. Some evenings there was a silent disco and other nights music to dance to and sing along to. Simon, Wayne and Tony were our entertainment team and they did a fabulous job all week. We felt like old friends by the end of our holiday. The bar staff here are wonderful, nothing is too much trouble for them. With only 100 passengers on board, we got served really quickly.
Just to the back of the observatory is the terrace. This is a small outdoor area with a covered roof. There are about 6 to 8 tables here and we enjoyed sitting here to watch the sunset. Back in the atrium on Deck 3 there is an area with a coffee machine, hot water, milk, different types of tea, cookies, fruit, iced tea and water. You can help yourself here 24 hours a day. There's also an area with books and games that you can borrow if you've forgotten your reading material, but you are asked to pop them back at the end of your holiday. There are also some glass cabinets with things you can purchase like jewellery, bags, fridge magnets, notebook, you know the sort of stuff. I didn't see anyone buying anything though.
Up on Deck 4 is the outside space. This is where a few exercise classes and game sessions take place. We never took part in these, but they are advertised on the daily schedule or on the TUI app. There are loads of chairs and tables, deck chairs and lounges. It was never busy up here, but it was October. I don't think you would struggle for a seat even if travelling at full capacity in the summer. It really is a large space. There is a smoking section up here and it is good to see that there's some outside social space exclusively for the crew. The captain is up here on the deck with the bridge visible so you can see the boat being driven. It's a great place to hang out when you're going through a lock, just to see how these things work, and especially going under some low bridges when we had to sit down and duck.
There are no lifts on TUI Maya, so if stairs are a problem for you, bear this in mind. The boat is very small, especially if you're used to ocean cruising, but the benefits are no queuing for lifts or very long walks to the toilet. Talking of toilets, there are some by the restaurant, in the atrium and by the wellness centre. They are immaculately clean and well stocked.
Tips are included in the price you pay, but if you want to give a little extra, you can pop some cash into the envelope on reception for all the staff to share, or give individually if you wish.
So, now on to the price. We booked 8 months in advance and paid £1,300 each for a superior cabin on Deck 1 for 7 nights in early October on an all-inclusive basis. This is a lot more than we would ever pay for an ocean cruise for a week, but this was on a much smaller scale, so I can understand why the cost is higher. Itineraries on the Isla and Skyla were similar prices, but on a full board basis.
As of 2024, all TUI riverboat cruises are full board rather than all-inclusive. It looks like to upgrade to all-inclusive in 2024, it costs £20 per person per day. As of 2023, there are no excursions included in this price. If you want to do a walking tour, you could book this and it ranged from around £5 to £25 depending on duration and the place. You could book this on the boat. There are also a few other excursions available, but nowhere near as many as you get on an ocean cruise. Nearer our departure date, you could purchase a superior French balcony cabin on Deck 2 or 3 for less than we paid. Of course, prices can go up and down, but I did notice that in general prices did decrease after we booked. A few people I chatted to had all booked only a few weeks ago.
There was one big shocker we haven't talked about yet. That is, with only 14 hours until departure of our flight, we received an email from TUI saying our whole itinerary had been changed due to low water levels on the Danube. This is something you need to understand when booking a river cruise. Talking to the cruise director, it seemed that it doesn't happen often. This was the first time it had happened this season, but be aware it does happen, so it's good to have a flexible attitude to where you will be travelling. We were no longer going to any of the places we had expected to visit. We had booked tickets to the Anne Frank Museum in Amsterdam and lost our money on these as they were non-refundable. TUI offered us 3 options. We could cancel and receive a full refund. We could book another river cruise holiday with them up to the same value. Or we could travel and receive 10% compensation and £400 worth of holiday vouchers. We decided to travel as we'd never been to any of the places we were now due to visit, so bye bye Holland and hello Austria.
In conclusion, the TUI Maya was a wonderful boat to be on for a week. We enjoyed the food, the drinks, the wonderful places we got to see, and the staff really work hard, and every single one was friendly, helpful, polite and made our holiday successful.
If you've enjoyed this tour of the TUI Maya, please check out our other content on river cruising here and support us by subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, but helps us to get this information out to a wider audience. If you have any questions about a holiday or a TUI riverboat, drop us a message and we'll do our best to answer it.
If you're interested in our river cruise experience or other travelling light adventures, please like and subscribe to keep updated. It doesn't cost anything, it's as easy as clicking a button.
If you like this, you may also like this video.
See you again next time!